What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now today I'm going to be doing a video I've been wanting to do ever since I received this guitar here. We're going to be doing a review on the ESP LTD EC-1000. First of all, before I do a review on this, I'm just going to run through some sounds, both dirty, clean, and lead. So first of all, let's start with the dirty. So that does it for a little bit of sound demos. It's just a little run through. Won't go too in depth with those. So first of all, I'm going to run through the specs of this guitar, and then I'm going to talk about it, kind of my thoughts on the whole guitar, and like what kind of how I feel about the guitar and whatnot, and how kind of the whole shipping and customer service was with ESP. Obviously, it's an LTD. And it's the EC-1000, so it's the highest LTD you can get before, you know, ESP and the custom shop E2 and all those different ranges that they have. But yeah, so it's their EC-1000 in a satin black around, you know, the whole entire guitar is satin black front and back. It has the binding around the front with the multiply around the body, and then the white on the fingerboard. It's a mahogany body, a 3-piece mahogany neck, Tone Pros locking bridge and tailpiece, 2 volume, 1 tone, and the tone has a push-pull coil split. I believe it's a coil split. Has gold covered gold covered Seymour Duncan JB59 set, 24 extra jumbo frets. There's normal frets, not stainless steel. Macassar ebony fretboard. It has these awesome flag inlays. It has a Graphtec nut, I believe is what it is, or Tuscan nut, one of the two. Has super cool set in contour here, set neck. There's LTD locking tuners on the back, and then guitar tit on the back, which I always love those on the back. There's normal cover, truss rod cover. This is EC-1000 on it. Three-way toggle. Thin U neck shape with I'm calling it a 14-inch radius. Some people might call it will say 13.75, but I consider it 14 just because it's simpler numbers. And also has a 24 3/4 scale length, and that is pretty much it for this guitar in terms of specs. Oh, and also the side dots, they're just normal, you know, side dots. They're not glow in the dark, sadly, but they're fine, whatever. I'm not playing live. So, also output jack right here. So, about this guitar, those are the specs. Here are my thoughts about this guitar. It's first of all, let's get the elephant out of the room in terms of people who've, you know, watched my videos for a little bit. You guys have seen kind of the guitars I like to play with. I usually like, you know, super strats, kind of like, you know, your Schecters and your Ibanez. I've never used an Ibanez on this channel, at least as of yet, but I do like, you know, the double cut super strats, the pointy stuff, kind of like the UBC Rich Warlocks, and your, you know, your crazy pointed flying V's, kind of like, you know, what you'd see with the ESP Arrow and some other, you know, crazy Jackson shapes, like the Jackson V. I'm a big fan of those crazy shapes, and also super strats. So just pointy, pointy, pointy. But this guitar is way out of my comfort zone, or I guess in the off to left field will be over here, but left field for you guys if you're viewing it. So this is way off the left field for me, because obviously it's a lot more, I guess, of a rounder shape, minus the little horn here. The horn's pretty pointy, but other than that, it's a pretty rounded off in terms of shape, and you know how this physical thing looks. That was kind of weird when I first originally picked it up. I'm like, this is just holding it just felt weird. I'm like, oh, I'm not used to, like, you know, Les Paul shaped guitar, or an LP shaped guitar. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing with it for a while, for a little bit now, ever since I've gotten the video, gotten it unboxed. And if you guys haven't seen the unboxing yet, feel free to hit the card up on this side of the screen. I believe this is the right side of the screen. Anyway, click that link in the cards and it'll take you to that unboxing video. Yeah, so this is pretty much about the guitar. Kind of my thoughts on the guitar at first, but obviously I love it. It's beautiful. This is my first fully like matte guitar, because all the other guitars I've had in the past have had like a gloss body with like either a satin neck like this or natural like a finished wood on the back. So I'm kind of used to the necks like this, where they're finished, where they're not finished, but they're, you know, satin on the back. But this is my first entirely satin guitar of all the guitars I've owned in my life so far. This is my first one that is entirely, you know, satin, which feels awesome. But you know, it's gonna become a little shiny after a while. But honestly, that doesn't bug me, because, you know, shit happens to guitars. They get, you know, dinged and nicked, and shit happens to them. So it's like cool. It also it takes on kind of the physical characteristic of, you know, say I have my arm rested there and I play with, you know, hands like that, like fingers like this. You'll get shiny spots here or here. If you're, you know, using your volume and tone knobs a lot, you'll see it there. Obviously, the back of the neck will be glossy after a while. But yeah, that's really cool. It takes on the characteristic of, you know, the player. It's really smooth. Satin finishes, I was like, okay, satin finishes, whatever. It's not my thing. But after having this for a while, this is really nice. It's really smooth. This feels a bit more expensive. The satin finish, in my opinion, feels a bit more expensive than what the price tag is. Now, these usually go for $8.99 new. This particular model usually goes for $8.99, you know, new. But this is a factory second, so I got this for a discounted price since it's a factory second. Now that we're, you know, since we're talking about factory seconds, what that means, for anybody who doesn't know, is basically there are some very minor, like, visual things on the guitar that companies, or certain companies, for, you know, ESP for example, they'd be like, yeah, we can't really, this won't pass quality control, but we also don't want to throw it away, so we'll sell it for discounted price and say it has blemishes on it. And the blemishes, I'll go over those right now. So on the back, I'll start with the back, right around in this area here, so right below the cavity here. I'll try to get some B-roll. But right here, there are some lifted, like, looks like there's some paint that's risen from, which I would assume would be some kind of molecules floating in there that got trapped underneath the finish, and that just didn't get finished off. It's mostly here, one there, same thing. This is a very minute one right here, right past the, what is that, the 17th fret. There's some buckle rash, but that's just from me playing it on a strap. On the back, there's some seam lines here, because obviously in this price range, you're not going to find like a 1 or 2 piece body. Usually in this price range, you'll find about a 3-piece body on average in this price range. And what that means is they have blanks of wood, in this case mahogany, that's probably about this wide, give or take. And then they take different pieces and put them together to get the size of the guitar. So in this case, it's a bit bigger because it's less single cut. These tend to be a bit wider in terms of this way. So yeah. Anyway, there are some seam lines here where they glued the wood together, and it looks like the paint and the finish didn't take perfectly here, but that doesn't affect playability, doesn't affect tone. I'm just pointing these out, so if you do happen to buy a factory second, you kind of know what to expect, what kind of blemishes to expect. And on here, I believe where does it start? It starts from about fret 9 to a fret 12. There are very small indentations. Just a little, like very slight indentations. I'll try to get some B-roll. I'm not sure if we can get that on B-roll, but there are slight indentations on there. There's a couple markings on the headstock. There's one here. I don't know where that one came from. I don't remember seeing that one, but I've noticed that one recently. This scuff here is from the Jimmy clip. I might have been from the Jimmy clip. I don't know, but I noticed it after I put the Jimmy clip on, so I'm gonna say the Jimmy clip caused it. But it's whatever. It's a guitar. It's not meant to be a museum piece. And that pretty much does it in terms of specs, or in terms of blemishes. Also, another thing I forgot to mention, this is, I think, an arch, what you call arch top. It's, or slims out towards the edges. It also has a belly cut in the back. Oh, another spec I forgot to say. It comes with Seymour Duncan JB 59 set, JB in the bridge, 59 on the neck. But yeah, so this thing plays really well. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. So, also on the frets, as you guys can see the gold on the frets, you can see the binding. There's some of the stain from the binding, or something. There's some kind of like yellowish marking that matches the binding on the frets. Not all of them. Looks like there's one here, and then one on this side, one right here. But other than that, it's no big deal. It's just very minor things in terms of cosmetics. But yeah, I love this guitar, which is, like I said earlier, a bit weird for me to say because I'm used to double cuts. This is a bit off in terms of stylistic things that I'm used to from a guitar. But, I just kind of grown to love it. So, one point of concern, the main point of concern for this guitar was the scale length for me, because I'm used to like 25.5-inch scale guitars, 26.5-inch scale guitars, because I played around with some 7s. I've owned a 7-string in the past before that at 26.5-inch. Those didn't feel off to me at all, but I thought the 24 3/4-inch scale would feel weird to me. I thought the string tension would be, a bit questionable, especially with the tuning. I have this guitar because usually I currently have this in drop B. This is probably going to be my main guitar for drop B. And it's pretty low for, especially with the scale length. But actually, the tension is really not that bad. It just doesn't feel like there's much, question in terms of tension. Just doesn't feel compromised at all. But I'm gonna have to compliment ESP on this. This thing came up perfectly, set up. It was missing a B string, sadly, but a little sketchy on there. But I had a pack of strings anyway, so I'm gonna change that and throw a set of 12s on, which is this, what I've set up on here. I have a set of 12s set up in drop B. And what's crazy is I'm kind of used to having to adjust the truss rod crazy, adjust the intonation, because usually an intonation is totally out of whack. But to my surprise, none of that happened. The neck, I did adjust the neck very, very slightly. It was like barely a turn. The neck was pretty much straight. I just needed to make it just a little itty bitty bit straighter. Intonation was perfect, except two strings. Two strings were like a couple cents sharp. Other than that, they were perfect. Action, I lowered it down just a little bit because the action was a bit high for my personal taste. But yeah, other than that, everything's played perfectly out of the box. But man, this neck, the thin U neck shape, feels great. It does have a bit of chunk from what I'm used to from my two Schechters, because the two Schechters I had, the Blackjack SLS C7 and my Schechter Hellraiser Hybrid C1, those both had very skinny necks on, very thin necks on it. But this just feels, this is thicker than those, not crazy thicker, but it's thicker. And the neck radius, the neck profile just feels right. This feels right to me. So I love this neck profile. After doing a pneumatic bridge, that feels right to my hands as well. So it's just perfect. But yeah, this thing plays really well. There's no sharp fret ends. I've been lucky enough to not experience any guitars that have super sharp fret ends or just any problems with the fret leveling. I've just never had that problem. So yeah, this is just no exception. This is a quality instrument from ESP. What do you expect from ESP? I mean, they're a very well reputable guitar company. They've been around since the 70s. Come on, can you really expect anything bad from ESP? No, not really. But yeah, this is great. This thing also came in very fast. I wasn't in terms of shipping because I was expecting it to be the end of February, beginning of March when I'd get this, but this actually came in like right the second week of February, which kind of blew my mind. But yeah, I might be within about 4 to 5 hours of the actual ESP headquarters where they ship everything out. But so this arrived really fast, and I got the verification email that's sent out, so that's pretty cool. I can't really call anything out, but the only thing I can, I'm not calling it out, but I'm just a little disappointed with are these pickups. Now, these things, I'm not saying they sound bad, just for what I'm looking for in terms of guitar tone. Not the biggest fan of these pickups, at least this particular set of pickups. Now I have the JB in my other guitar, my Fender Strat. That sounds amazing, but these, I'm not sure if it's because they're covered or because it's made out of mahogany. Now some people are gonna call me out for the whole tone wood debate, but I do believe tone wood to some extent has an effect on the tone. Maybe not as extreme as some people think, but I'm not sure if it's because they're covered or the shorter scale length or the mahogany. Because the thing's mostly made out of mahogany, I'm not sure, because it just sounds a little held back to me. Now at least I'm referring to the bridge pickup. The neck pickup is perfect, I think, for what I'm looking for. The neck pickup on this thing, 59 sounds great. It's because that's kind of what I look for in the neck pickup, is kind of that kind of laid back kind of thing, kind of like a, not subdued, but just kind of like laid back, kind of bluesy kind of thing, because that's what I love in neck pickups. But man, this bridge pickup. I mean, yeah, it does sound good. It does have, great tone to it, but I'm just, it just, for me, it doesn't have enough, it doesn't have what I'm looking for in a pickup. I'm just looking for a bit more ballsiness, a bit more aggression in the top end kind of thing. And the output is fine. I mean, I just wish it was a bit hotter. I think the JB is about a 16.5K output pickup, roughly. I'm looking for something about an 18 pickup, because I'm just kind of used to active pickups, like the EMGs, these blackouts. It's kind of what I'm used to in tones, and at least coming out of a bridge pickup, that's what I'm used to. I'm just used to that, something that just punches you in the nuts. That's kind of what I'm like. That's what kind of I like. The neck pickup, obviously, the neck pickup sounds great, as I showed you guys before. It's very, just bubbly. I wish it was a bit more, rounder, but I mean, it's pretty much where I want it to be in terms of a neck pickup. Yeah, this is the bridge pickup. I probably will change this out soon, hopefully. I don't know if I'll send them out yet, but I'm not bashing Seymour Duncan. I'm not bashing the JB at all. It's a fantastic pickup. Many records I've been great records I've been recorded with the JB. Just this particular in this guitar, not really what I'm looking for. No big deal. Love Seymour Duncan. Not promoting, associated with Seymour Duncan or ESP. I'm just making this video because I want to make it and, show off some stuff, and hopefully show you guys kind of what ESP has to offer in terms of guitars. But yeah, what else can I talk about this guitar? Oh yeah, I love this thing, as I mentioned earlier. It comes with a coil split, or split tap, one of the two. Anyway, but yeah, so it sounds great. I love that coil split option. Here, let me show you an example of the coil split. So it's out now, right? You can hear that hum? The hum's kind of annoying, but here we go. So it's in here, it sounds, I love that coil split. This is my, this actually is my first guitar that has a push-pull split on it. I've had guitars with passive pickups in the past, but they've never come with the coil, you know, the push-pull on it. Oh man, that sounds, I love that kind of like crispy high end that, you know, a coil split has to offer, and a single coil has to offer. I love the coil split. I wish every guitar that I'm gonna have that has passives in it, I'm gonna get coil splits, because that sounds fucking amazing, especially on cleans. I don't play cleans too often, but when I do, I'm always, you know, on the neck pickup. Okay, man, it's basically a little bit of sparkle on certain passages I'm playing, and that helps out with those. But yeah, that's awesome. I have no complaints with this guitar. It's awesome. So if you guys are looking for like a classy look, like if you just want to play metal, but you don't want to play look super obnoxious on stage and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna poke someone's eye out, kind of thing, but you still want something metal, I definitely recommend this. Now you don't have to, if you're not a big fan of, you know, satin black, you're not a big fan of passive pickups, or you're not a big fan of like color, you can go ahead to ESP's website, which I'll link below. Again, I'm not sponsored by ESP. I'm simply doing this video because I want to do this video. You guys could find something that'll fit you, because they have, you know, like transparent flame tops. They have modern color shiftings with, like, you know, active EMGs or active, you know, fluence pickups, or, you know, EMGs. But they also have other guitars with different pickups in them. I think they have a couple. Yeah, they have a couple of EMGs, a couple with. I think they have one with a couple of Seymour Duncans, and a couple with Duncans in them. You know, if this isn't your cup of tea, there you can always find another guitar. But this one is great. I love it. It's very smooth. It feels really nice. It feels, you know, a bit more above its price range. Instead of feeling, you know, $8.99, this feels like $11.99. It feels like a nice guitar, a really nice guitar. I love it. But one thing I do have to mention is the weight. I'm not a big fan of the weight. This just clocks in a little over 9 pounds. I think it was like 9.5 pounds, just above 9.5 pounds, which for me is a bit heavy. I'm not a big fan of it, especially with a strap. This tends to, like, you know, weigh down on me a little bit and get that arm sores after. Talking about straps, let me show you guys this real quick. There's no real neck dive. If I, you know, do this with it, it does do this. It does do that just a little bit. Like, I'll start here. Look, it does do that just a little bit, but not much. There's no head dive. Special locking tuners. These locking tuners tend to make things just a little heavy on the headstock. I remember with my Hellraiser Hybrid, that thing had some. In terms, at least comparing it to this, the neck dive was a bit worse. It was passable, but it's nothing like an SG where it's like, you know, that, you know. I've played some SGs where it's like this like that, but this doesn't do this. So that's a great feature about this guitar. I'm not sure if it has to do with the shape or whatnot, but thumbs up for no neck dive. Thumbs down for weight. I just personally not a big fan of heavy guitars. This is a bit excessive for me. But yeah, with the weight out of the way, I mean, it's barely over 9 pounds. No big deal. I can live with it, but I just wish it was lighter, probably something around 6 or 7 pounds. But you can't get a guitar, that's perfect. But anyway, this is a great guitar. If you guys want to see more guitar reviews, or whatever, anything music related in terms of, metal, rock, or punk, feel free to follow me, because that's kind of what my channel is based around. And be seeing more content like that. If you guys enjoy, feel free to like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, leave a comment below what you think about this guitar, what you think about if you have experience with ESP, or kind of what if you guys want to see what a review of any kind. I'll do more if you guys want. Anyway, see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out.